This is the 2013 Honda Accord. This is the first time I could remember where a new model has come out where it's actually smaller than the old model. Typically when a car comes out, it's bigger and it's better. They have shrunk the Accord. It's slightly shorter overall and the track is slightly narrower. But the good news is the packaging is just as good as ever. The interior amenities are roughly the same size. This reduces weight and gives you a better looking car. The old model actually qualified as a full-size sedan, so Honda's getting back to the roots and producing a good-looking mid-size car. One major update for Canada is 17-inch alloy wheels come standard. No cheap-looking hubcaps, they've gone to an alloy wheel. This is the Sport model where you get 18-inch alloy wheels. The base price on an Accord is around $23,500, and this model is roughly $25,500, one step up from the base. Also on this Sport model, you get the dark chrome on the handles, and you also get the dual exhaust tips around the back. The front of the car is a little bit more elegant. By shortening the car, you don't have the long overhangs anymore. The car looks a little bit more athletic. Nice touches of chrome. As I mentioned, you get the darker chrome here on the Sport model. It might be worth it to spend that extra, couple grand to get this model, to get the bigger wheels and the tastier looking outside amenities. The back of the car has a more sculpted, rounded look at the back. You get the little spoiler here on the back with the Sport model. This is the one angle that reminds me of another car, a Korean car. The Hyundai Azera that was sold until just a couple of years ago in Canada and has a very similar back end. That's not a bad thing. I thought that was a pretty good looking car. Now the trunk is a great size, very useful. It's long, it's wide, and the back seat does fold down, but on this model it folds down as one seat. You don't get that 60-40 split, and the hole that gives you a pass-through into the back is really quite narrow, so you're not going to get wide objects into the back seat. So it doesn't split and the hole isn't that big. When Honda brought out the Civic in 2012, there were a lot of complaints that they had lost their way. They'd gotten away from the core values of Honda. But you know what? They've turned things around with the last two introductions. The Civic was riddled with hard plastic. They're updating that car for 2013. Then they brought out the CR-V that had a ton of standard equipment, and this new Honda Accord is following nicely in its footsteps. You get soft touch materials on the upper dash, you get the harder materials on the bottom, but that's just standard in this class of vehicle. In addition, heated seats come standard. Bluetooth connectivity with the ability to play text through the stereo and reply through the stereo. That's all standard equipment. You get a large 8-inch screen in the center console, and when you put the car in reverse, there's a backup camera. That's standard equipment. Also, you get the USB jack here, and you get an auxiliary jack in the center of the dash. So very nicely equipped with lots of room inside, about the same size as the older car on the inside. The back seat is big. The seats are very comfortable. Nice satin finish on the accents here in the center console and chrome around the cup holders. One thing I really like is the unit that controls the stereo and everything that's going on inside the car. Much easier to use than the older model. It looks better. The old one looked like it had a big Coke can sticking out of the middle of the dash. They've cleaned that up. Very simple and easy to use with easy readouts, which is perfect for the baby boomers that are going to buy this car. There's two big changes for this new Honda Accord. Still has a 2.4-liter four-cylinder engine, but now it has direct injection. The same kind of technology that's found in the Sonata and the Kia Optima, and also the new Chevy Malibu. All of those cars get roughly 200 horsepower, right around there with their direct injection engines. This car gets 189 horsepower, but torque is way up from the older model, up to 182 foot-pounds of torque. The second big change is the inclusion of a continuously variable transmission. A 6-speed manual is still available if you want to row your own gears. The automatic is now a continuously variable unit. That allows a wider ratio of gears, which allows this engine to get up and away from a traffic light at ease, cruise effortlessly, and I have to say, driving the other kind of Japanese import that has this, the Nissan Altima, with their continuously variable transmission, this one I find is just a little bit quieter, more refined on the highway, and it's a little bit quieter overall in the cabin. Now, I've always been a fan of the Honda Accord, and it used to be my top pick in the mid-size class until Hyundai came out with the Sonata, kind of blew everybody away in terms of horsepower and features. Well, now this car is right in the mix. It's got almost 190 horsepower. It's got wonderful features, as we mentioned, but at the core, it has, I would say, better drivability. The electric power steering is a little bit more refined and significantly more precise than the Hyundai product, and the car feels right. Even with the continuously variable transmission, it's an excellent driving car. Honda has always put more stake into the way their cars handle than many of the competition. Now, continuously variable transmissions in the early days were horrible, and these new ones, they basically synthesize an automatic transmission. When you're driving along and you put your foot down, it drops down to almost a preset ratio. It gives you the feeling that there's an actual gear there and it's kicking down to get you past something. So the only downside to this particular continuously variable transmission, if the car is cold and you're accelerating away, there's a little bit of jerking back and forth. Once the car is warmed up, it's all good. Well, it's good to see that Honda still has some fight in them. After the Honda Civic was released, a lot of people thought maybe they were cheapening their brand, but they're back with the new CR-V that's selling very well, and now this new Honda Accord, which is a better size than the outgoing model. It has more standard features like heated seats and a backup camera. It's got a more powerful engine, and it's cheaper than the model it replaces. The continuously variable transmission is the one thing people are going to have to get used to, but the industry is moving that way. The Altima has it, a lot of the Nissan products, a lot of the Subaru products, and now this Honda Accord. It gives you almost the same driving dynamics, but it gives you greater efficiency. I'd say Honda's back in the game with the all-new Accord.